millions of Americans in the Northeast are waking up this morning to snow totals ranging from just a few inches to close to 3 feet. The major Noreaster that rolled through overnight Friday and well into Saturday moving off overnight, but leaving a huge mess in its wake.
That storm sparking blizzard warnings that ran from Virginia all the way up to Maine. Wind gusts over 80 miles an hour recorded in some areas.
And a travel nightmare with thousands of flights canceled this morning and yesterday. Here's a live look from JFK Airport in New York, one of the hardest hit airports in this storm. And more than 50,000 homes and businesses still without power this morning in Massachusetts, that state taking the brunt of the storm. So let's begin right there with Rob Marciano live in Boston. Rob, good morning. A lot of cleanup ahead.
Yeah, we got a lot to dig out from with this storm. Certainly lived up to its billing. Certainly here in Boston, 23.8 inches of snow falling, tying an all-time record for the most amount of snow, 23.6 falling in just one day. And then, of course, you got these snow drifts, which makes it even more difficult to clean up and walk through. Luckily, they've done a pretty good job of cleaning at least some of the streets and some of the sidewalks. But this was not just an explosive storm, but expansive. I mean, tens of millions of Americans up and down the East Coast getting hit by this one.
This morning, the Northeast reeling after getting battered by an historic winter storm. In Massachusetts, more than 50,000 people without power, now forced to bear unrelenting bitter temperatures without electricity. The Noreaster dumping up to 30 inches of snow in the state's southeast region.
Downtown Boston's getting a good cleaning up.
Boston getting nearly 2 feet.
This is just a ferocious winter storm, and Boston is in the bullseye. Look at these snow drifts. Curtains of snow have been coming down sideways all day long. Visibility at times near zero, and the wind chill's just brutal, well below 0 degrees.
Massive amounts of snow and ice, just one of the many dangers the storm left in its wake. Rising floods surging onto coastal communities. The Cape area getting hammered with over 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. In Nantucket, high waters engulfing these homes. Some residents seen braving the storm by canoe. Those punishing winds and rough waves sweeping water through the island's roads. Overnight, our ABC affiliate WCVB reporting from the flood zone.
Strong winds pulled power lines to the ground, and coastal flooding left roads covered in slush.
The salt water from the floods now freezing over, wrapping cars like this one in ice. Other vehicles throughout the region stranded in the snow. On I-95 in New York, 2 tractor trailers overturned. The storm snarling travel both on the road and in the air. Around 1,300 flights canceled today, adding to the 3,500 cancellations from Saturday. New York, Philadelphia, and Boston, some of the major flight hubs facing the most interruptions.
This is one of the top snowfalls in a 24-hour period in the history of the state of Rhode Island.
The massive cleanup already underway in New Jersey and New York, where the storm hit early Saturday morning. But that bitter cold still here through the weekend.
And that means that it's not going to start to melt, not even begin to start to melt, really, over the next couple of days, maybe towards the end of the week. All right, let's go over through what's happened and what we think is going to continue to happen. This storm taking a preferred track for an epic snow, certainly for New England. The closer you were to the coast, the more you got as far as snow. At one point, 10 states were under blizzard warnings from Maryland and Virginia all the way up through Maine. 30 inches reported in some spots. The low itself now, although it has bombed out, is beginning to weaken and drift off to sea. All right, 30 inches the winner in Sharon, Mass. Warren, Rhode Island, 24 inches. They had 21 in Providence. Islip, New York. So everybody getting 1 and 2 feet of snow. And then the wind chill's brutal this morning. -5 here in Boston, -2 New York, -10 Albany. But the cold air with this thing has been drawn all the way down into the deep south. Look at Florida's wind chills. Jacksonville, 24, feels like 29 in Orlando. Even Miami feels like 37 degrees right now. You know, they got a shortage of the orange crop this year, on track to be the shortest, the smallest since World War II. And this cold snap is not going to help that. We'll talk more about that in the storms to come in the next half hour. Eva?
I know my friends in Miami are feeling that. They don't actually own real coats. So that's a problem when it gets to 37. Thanks, Rob.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.